big one in probably a turtle. Is it a turtle in it?
Huh?
Oh, is that the turtle?
Yeah, see it? What's up, y'all? Welcome back. We appreciate you dropping in and checking out another video today. We are getting ready for Lake St. Clair, getting the boat ready. We got tackle piled up everywhere. This will be a staple. Now, with it being farther north up there, they're going to be a little bit more behind what we are right now. Right now, a lot of our fish have spawned. Now what we're left with is a lot of fry garters. There's not a better time to throw a Cinco than right now when you have fry garters. If you get this around the bed, they will eat it. They can't stand it. You can Texas rig it with a real lightweight. You can put a flick shake jig head hook and rig it wacky style. Lots of different ways. But what I want to talk to you about primarily is just a wacky rig or Nico rig. So I want to just kind of run through the setup. The fish catches you saw there were actually some spawning fish from a few weeks ago that had just spawned. You're seeing a lot of the males that are actually garden fry. There are some fish that were cruisers. So you had like kind of all three stages of the spawn going at the same time. Now, it's no secret. Everybody throws the thing around the spawn. There's just a couple little things I do that I feel give me an advantage or help me get a few more bites whenever I'm throwing this booger. So the first thing I'm going to go through is the bait itself. Now, there are a blue million renditions of the Senko stick bait, stick worm, whatever you want to call it. I do feel like that the more salt, the better. It's going to be more soft, more supple, and have a better action. It's also going to sink a little faster than some of the baits that don't have much salt. So if you are a guy who does not have the patience to let that bait, cast it out there and just let it sink so slow, then you may want a bait that has more salt in it. And a Senko has a lot of salt. Now, the unfortunate side of that is it's good for about one bite and it's done, toast, finished. So you go through a lot of them. I have become pretty accustomed to the Dinger. I like it pretty well. They're affordable for what they are. Not loaded with salt, but they do have some. So if you do go through a lot of them, it's not breaking the bank. I'm going to pull it out of the package. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bait and I'm going to rough it up. I'm just taking my finger and I'm running it down it. And what I'm trying to do here is just bring some of that salt up to the surface, to the top of the bait. It takes a little bit of the shine off of the plastic, kind of dulls it down a little bit, all while making it a little bit softer and more supple. So when you're twitching that bait, it just has a more realistic action. So down to the setup. This is a size 1 Nico rig hook. I also like the size 2. And this has the weed guard on it. I fish around a lot of heavy cover, sometimes with a Nico rig or a wacky rig. So I like having that little weed guard. I feel like it does help me keep from hanging up as often. So I'm going to put that with about a 2 to 3 foot Seagar 8-pound leader. 100% pure fluorocarbon is what I'm going to go with. I'm going to tie just a standard Palomar or clinch knot, either one. And then I'm going to go to braid. I use a 20-pound main braid. This is a Spiderwire Dura braid. It's kind of a new braid that's came out in the last 6 months. I really like this braid. It's durable, but yet it casts really, really good. So 20-pound on that. It's going to be tied with a double uni. Now, all you FG guys, you're going to hate me for that. I don't have time to tie an FG knot. It's nothing against it. Double uni works, tried and true, goes through my guides just fine. I don't feel like an FG matters. I think most importantly, you need to tie the knot you are the most comfortable with, that you're the most confident with, that you're going to tie a good, strong knot when you're tying leaders or line to line. So I go with a double uni. Got a lot of confidence in it, and I don't break fish off. So I'm going to take my bait here, and where you rig the hook through the bait can change the action of the bait. If you hook it back farther in the tail, it's going to change it, and closer to the head. I typically go right here, somewhere just slightly off center. I'm going to go right in here, just on the big side of the middle, and hook straight through. Now, yes, you can use O-rings, and I do from time to time. If I'm getting a lot of bites, I will switch to an O-ring. I actually like to hook through the plastic when I can. I just feel like, one, I hang up less, because having this plastic right here sometimes does protect the hook a little bit better and keeps you from hanging up as much. Two, I feel like it disguises the hook a little bit in cleaner water situations and makes it more likely to get the bite. So I prefer to go through the plastic. Now, if I'm getting a ton of bites and bites aren't at a premium and I'm going through like a mountain of plastics, I'll go to an O-ring just to cut down on how much loss I'm going to have in plastics. So basically, that's pretty much it. I will take a nail weight, and I buy the 3/32 Lunker City regular lead nail weights. Do not waste your money on tungsten. I don't care what anybody tells you. You're pushing the weight up inside the plastic. You don't need tungsten. It's not a feel thing. For me, they're going to throw this worm off every now and then. And those little tungsten nail weights, they expensive. And lead, a lot cheaper. They throw one, so be it. No big deal. Basically, you know, if you got the weight in it, you've turned it into a Nico rig. If you throw it like this with no weight in it, you basically just have a weedless wacky rig. So I'm going to throw this around predominantly areas that I think fish would be spawning. I want to back off a little bit where they can't really see me, make long cast, and try to put this around cover that I feel fish would be spawning. These baits come in lots of different colors and sizes. I predominantly stick with 5-inch, but occasionally if the bite gets funny, I will go down to a 4-inch. I like to throw like a black and green or black and blue in dirty water. I've got some shad patterns that I will go with in super, super clean water. Or if there is like a shad spawn going on. But for the most part, in just kind of slightly off-colored water to clear water, I'm going to go with a watermelon or a green pumpkin hue worm. Something very similar to this, like watermelon red. Throw it out there and twitch that rod and just get that bait to flutter. And that will get you the reaction bite. So as far as the rod and reel setup, predominantly always on spinning tackle. Not going to throw this on bait cast tackle. You know, 6'8" to 7-foot rod. I want some, you know, a lot of forgiveness in the tip. The more flexibility you have in the tip of this rod, as long as you have good backbone in the rod, these fish will essentially hook themselves. They don't require a lot of hard hook sets. They will kind of load up on themselves. So basically, you reel up your slack and you pull into them and they're hooked. So, guys, hey, appreciate you taking the time to check us out. I know, you know, I talk about Nico rigs a lot. One of my favorite ways to catch fish. For a finesse tactic, it can dominate at times, especially around the spawn. So while we still got a little bit of spawn season left, if you haven't got out and thrown a wacky rig around, go do that. Go catch you some fish. We appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully next time you will see some big brown fish getting slung in a boat from Lake St. Clair. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We appreciate your viewership. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Share, comment. I hear those things help grow a channel, and we would greatly appreciate if you could help us do that. Y'all have a great week.